This is Russ. Yeah, I'm back in the car again. It's a Monday morning, 9:06 a.m. Yeah, a little earlier than usual when I make these videos. But I've been up for a while, so I figured, well, might as well get out and start doing things, right? So yeah, the weather's changed again. It is now about 30, 34, 35 degrees, something like that outside. Of course, you don't see me with a heavy jacket on. You know, like I said before, sometimes I'll just leave the jacket in the back seat. I don't like having the heavy jacket on when I'm driving. But I got a sweatshirt on, as I usually do. So, yeah, our weather has changed a bit. It's going to be cold for the rest of this week. So I won't be riding my e-bike, I don't think, this week. I did get out there to ride one more time before the weather changed, so you'll be seeing an upcoming video. Anyway, by the time this video comes out, I always got an itch. You know what I think it is? Here's what I think it is. Because people have asked me, why are you always itching? Yeah, I usually jump out of the shower, dry off, get myself ready, then I jump in the car. I think I'm just dry. I think that's what it is. Gotta put some lotion on or something like that. Skin is kind of dry, it makes it irritated, right? So, anyway, let's make the turn here. So we're just gonna park for a little while, and then I'll head off to my normal Costco routine later, because we are early, so they're not open. And but I did get some medical reports back, so I'm going to share that stuff with you after I park. Let's find a good spot here. It's wide open, so it doesn't really matter. I use my backup camera. Yeah, let's back up. Yeah, I tell you, having a backup camera really pays off. It just makes it easier to line yourself up and to know when to stop. There we go. All right, let's sit here for a while. Yeah, I'll give you some medical information in a second. Let me show you something here. Let me turn this thing back on. Let me disconnect this cable, make it a little bit easier here. Let's turn this on. You guys know what this is? It says TomTom. Yeah, basically it's a GPS unit, right? I bought this GPS unit, before the smartphone started having all the acclaim, having, GPS and everything. I think the smartphone has actually killed off a number of devices, this being one of them. I don't know. I guess some people still use the GPS unit. I mean, if you don't have a smartphone that has navigation on it, these would be the things to get, right? This one's made by TomTom, and others have other brands, but yeah, it's come in handy. Before I had this, I had a Hewlett Packard Palm Pilot type unit. Remember those Palm Pilots? Think about that thing. That thing's died off too, right? That used to be really popular. Kind of keep you organized. Well, I had one made by Hewlett Packard, and I was able to get a GPS device. It was basically a module that you would leave on your dashboard connected to your Palm Pilot thing from HP, from Hewlett Packard. And I used that for my navigation. When I was shooting weddings, it's kind of hard sometimes to navigate with a map, which I did many, many years. But having the navigation system guide you to go to the weddings and to the reception halls and everything like that was really good. And then, of course, these all-in-one units came out. I says, I need a bigger unit, something with a bigger display, better map, right? So I bought this TomTom unit, and I haven't used it since using a smartphone that has GPS built into it. You have to update these things. So this hasn't been updated for many years. And it's been sitting in my glove box all these years, from one car to the next. So I figured I better plug this thing in just to see if the battery's going to hold a charge. And so as I've been driving around, I've been leaving this charging up. So, and it seems to have taken the charge. I'm looking at the battery thing. I don't know how long the battery will last on this thing. I mean, it really doesn't matter too much as long as you keep it plugged into the cigarette lighter. I'll turn it off here. As long as you keep it plugged in, with the cable, it's fine. It doesn't really matter. But still, it's more convenient if you have, I guess it only goes one way. It goes this way. It's more convenient if you have a battery on there as well, because then it keeps everything together. But it doesn't seem to have lost any of the data, so the maps are still there. It just hasn't been updated with the current maps. Now, if you go on a trip, on major highways and the like, it probably won't make that much difference unless they've changed the highway system since you last did your update. And it's been quite a few years since my update. But the GPS that's on your smartphones, I got this plugged in too. The GPS that's on your smartphones, let me get rid of the notifications there. What's nice about this is that, it's totally updated constantly. And if there's something like traffic issues, if people report it to Apple or whichever units you have, it'll show up on your GPS and tell you, hey, you've got traffic issues coming up, right? The old one's not going to tell you that since it can't do that kind of update. Some of them do, but mine won't. And of course, it's got an old map too. So if we go on a large and long trip, this might be the better choice still. But still, having that other unit available is a good backup in case something happens to your phone. So that's why I keep it. All right. Okay, so let me unplug this. Let me give you some updates on the health. Now, on Friday, I went to see the doctor because every 3 months I've got to go in because of the diabetes. They want to see you. And really, they don't do anything. They just write down everything I tell them. It's just like a consultation. It's not even a consultation. I just tell them what I've been doing. I give them a report for the 3 months of all the figures that I have for my blood glucose measurements, the little finger stick test that you do every day with the blood. And then I give them my blood pressure and all that type of thing. So I went to see the nurse practitioner again, because that's the only person I ever get to see. I never get to see the doctor. And I told her what's been happening. And so we felt that, the blood pressure could be a little bit better, but that's only because of lack of activity. Although I told her that, my activities should increase quite a bit more going forward since the e-bike riding season is coming up. So she goes, yeah, that'll probably help as long as you pedal. I go, yeah, as long as I pedal. And I mentioned to her too that, I had the kidney stones, right? So yeah, she took a look and she goes, yeah, I see that you had an incident. So I told her that, the urologist had asked me to do a 24-hour urine test, but the test results came back, but it's been over a week and I hadn't heard back from the doctor yet. So apparently she must have sent a message to the doctor, because this morning I got a message from the urologist telling me what I needed to do based on the results of the test. Now, I told you before that the test kind of goes up and down, right? It I don't know if this thing updated here or not. Let me see here. Yeah, okay, it did. All right. So what I did is I put the information on my laptop, and then the nice part is that, whatever I do on the laptop shows up here on my phone as well. So here's what she said. And of course, the doctor communicates through their nurses. She says, potassium citrate was sent to your pharmacy. This will raise pH, block uric acid formation. You will also need to decrease your meat intake. That's probably what's been causing all the issues. Well, the thing is, as you know, I just almost basically just eat chicken all the time and a pizza every single day. So the issue hasn't been the pizza. The issue is the chicken. She wants me to decrease the amount of meat that I eat. Okay. So I was looking at the other things that they have here, because I said some of the values were higher than normal and some of the values are like lower than normal, but it's right on the edge. It's not like extremely high and extremely low. It's like the maximum level for normal, I'm a little bit higher than that. Or the minimum level for normal, I'm a little lower than that. So nothing's really like drastic, okay? But it's not within the normal range, technically. And I think even for myself, I was looking at this and I'm going, what is the two most critical things? And I mentioned this, I think the same things to you guys, that I said that there's something about uric acid or something. And well, she mentions pH, but I don't know if I mentioned anything else here that was different. Well, either way, she's giving me some medication, potassium citrate. So I don't know what that does, but she says it'll raise your pH and block uric acid formation. Now, how long do I need to take this? I don't know. I've got to wait until I get the medication from the pharmacy, and I'll see if if there's like anything there that says you have to, for refills. That'll tell you how long you got to keep taking this stuff. But if I don't see anything on the medication that tells me anything, then I'll send back a message to the doctor, say, how long am I supposed to take this for? I don't want to take this forever either. I mean, how many medications do they want to give me? But anyway, that is the update from the doctor, okay? Like I said, I didn't think it was anything major, and just from her response, the way she put it, it didn't sound like it's major, but you need to take something to help block this and that. Okay, so I'll do that. And now I got to find something else to eat besides chicken. Now, the reason I was eating a lot of chicken is because, first off, it's the cheapest thing I can get. Secondly, chicken has a very low calorie count compared to other foods. So I think what I have to do is I got to go back to some salads and maybe chicken as well, kind of break it up between the two. But, if you're just only eating chicken like I was doing, that's not so good. In fact, I was going to go back out to pick up some more chicken. Now I'm thinking maybe I shouldn't do that. Maybe I shouldn't do that. So, yeah, I think my diet's just a little weird. I always said never follow me if you're looking to lose weight, because first off, I'm going to lose the weight. I already know I will and can because I've done it so many times. I'm still down in weight from my original drop. My all-time high was 289. I told you guys that. That's pretty high. But when I started this whole journey of I should go on a diet, and then the next thing you know, I was diagnosed as diabetic and all that stuff. I started at 268, okay? Because that's where I was at that point. So we'll count it from 268. I mean, all-time high 289, 268. I'm currently a little bit over, I think from the last time I measured, I'm about 230 right now. So I was 228 for a while, and then I've gone up 2 pounds. So I'm at 230 currently. So I've gained 12 pounds since my all-time drop of 50 pounds. I had dropped down to 218, as you know. And then when the holidays hit, from Thanksgiving on, I gained about 10 pounds. I gained about 2 more pounds since that point. So I'm about 12 pounds higher than I had gotten from the all-time low. So we're going to call ourselves, as of today, 230, okay? So I've got to drop some weight. I think, the pizza thing doesn't seem to be the biggest thing. And the whole reason with the pizza is that I really have no other carb intake. So I always felt that if I ate the pizza, that gives me some carbs. And the doctor says you have to have some type of carbs. You can't, not have any. So I was eating chicken and pizza, essentially. Yeah, that was my diet. So I think it's going to be more like salads again with some chicken, not as much as I had before. And then my daily pizza thing is what I usually do, and I don't plan to cut that out. It's just something. Well, like I said, I go there for 2 reasons. First off is for something to eat, but secondly also because it gets me out of the house and gives me something to do. Now, whether that continues on, we shall see, because the riding season's coming up, and usually as the weather gets hotter and hotter, okay, I try to ride early in the morning because I don't like riding in hot weather, as I told you, and I don't like riding in cold weather either. My ideal temperature is about 70 degrees. 70 degrees, well, actually 70 to 72 degrees is really my best riding temperature. I don't mind having like this sweatshirt on and then riding, because it's a cool, nice, easy day, and that usually will happen in the morning if you do it. So I may go riding and then go to Costco later. I can see myself doing that, but it may not be at 10 o'clock in the morning, because I might be out on the bike, around that time. So we'll see. Okay. I'm checking the watch. Yeah, it's a different watch on here, you might notice. Give you a sneak peek, okay, of something that will be coming up. I mentioned before that I had to pick up something at the P.O. box. Yeah, I had to pick this thing up, all right? So I'm not going to show everything about it. You gave you a quick sneak peek. It looks kind of like this, okay? I've been evaluating the watch. Yeah, I don't, for something like this, I don't just get the product and immediately put out a review. I have to test it for a certain amount of time, see how it reacts and how it's doing. Well, I can't go into too much detail. I'll wait until the actual results of the watch testing comes out, and then I'll do the review, and the review will be on the Russ is Right channel. So I'll invite you to go there when that review comes out. But I'll tell you right now, this watch is actually pretty good. Yeah, for the money, it's pretty good. I have currently a total of, what do I have? 4 smartwatches currently. 2 of them I did reviews on. 1 of them I couldn't do it because the person who sent it to me never responded back. Remember that? And so that particular review was made but never got published because I never heard back from them. So, and that was a pretty good watch too. It's kind of a pity I don't get to show you guys that. And then this watch got sent to me, but this watch, there's some history with this this watch, so I can't tell you too much. But I'll tell you this: so far, it's pretty good. Yeah, it's pretty good. And so, if you're looking for a smartwatch and you're thinking about buying one, you may want to wait a little bit until maybe around mid-April. It's when I'll try to release this thing. My goal was I want to do this outdoors, but I want the grass to grow a little bit. If I'm riding around outside and everything just looks browned out and dried out, it doesn't make the review that interesting. So I told them, could we wait a little bit until maybe we have some green? I don't think the trees are going to grow. This is why I kept mentioning, how's your landscape? How's the trees? Because I'm waiting for that stuff to grow, but it's not going to happen by mid-April. Yeah. So, anyway, so yeah, that's what's coming as a review. So it's in evaluation mode right now. I've been testing it for the last couple weeks, and I finished one aspect of the test already. So now I recharged the watch, and now I'm checking another aspect of the watch to see how that responds. And that way I can give a better assessment as to how good the product is or how bad the product is. So far, it's surprising me. It's actually doing pretty good. So I think you'll like this watch. All right. Anyway, what else is going on? I'm hitting the screen here because it's dimming out on me. I think what happens is the cameras will the displays will start to dim out to kind of save on battery that way. But it doesn't know if you're still recording or you're not, or it's accidentally been left on. So I just touched the front screen, and that gives me an idea of what I'm doing, because I can see myself on the front screen. All right, so one more thing. I'm not sure whether this will come out before the other review will come out. I did a review of a Chinese restaurant. Okay, I think yeah, I think I'll release that review first, okay, and then I'll release this so I can talk about it now. So let me tell you some additional info on that review. Now, when you watch that Chinese restaurant review, I don't get to talk a whole lot as I'm going through the line because it really, there was no music or anything going on. It was so few people in there, so there's not even ambient noise from people talking and things. It was very quiet. So I felt like if I was to talk as I was getting food while going through the line, it would be kind of disruptive to the other people, and they'd probably think, well, who's this crazy guy? What's he doing? You know? So I kept quiet most of the time. And as if you watch that food review, I wasn't too happy as I was eating the food, as you might have noticed. You know, I mean, the food, it tasted okay. It's not like the food was bad tasting or anything like that. It was a little mushy, because I kind of felt that things were a little overcooked. I guess better to be overcooked than undercooked if you have to pick one or two. But sometimes if you cook something for too long, it becomes too soft and things, you know? So, and the selection choices just wasn't enough. You know, I took a look. They had three tables of food. One table was mostly things like French bread, you know, like garlic bread, which has no reason to be at a Chinese buffet, in my opinion. French fries. Okay, this stuff is for the kids, I guess. You know, French fries, egg rolls, vegetable egg rolls, which means there's no meat in it anyway. And then what else did they have? Stuff that I wouldn't even want to take. I didn't even take anything from that one table at all. Well, okay, there's another table that basically has salad type stuff. I didn't take anything from there either. Okay, somebody asked me, does that place have sushi? And the answer is no, they don't have that. Not that I would take it anyway. I'm not a big sushi eater. I don't eat anything that's raw fish. If it's cooked fish, I would do it. But again, it's got too much rice in there. Rice spikes my blood sugar, so I wouldn't take it anyway. But they didn't have any of that. And so the things that they had, it didn't taste bad. It's just that it didn't have enough selection, a variety of selection. Okay. So everything was some version of chicken, it felt like to me. And then you'll see me on that review, you see me kind of grab for some green beans, but I changed my mind. Yeah, too much garlic. I could see all the garlic pieces on there. I didn't want it to smell like garlic all day long, so I didn't take any of that. But everything was kind of like depleting already by 1:15, I think is where actually when I went in there. So I said between 1:15 1:30. I think I got there about 1:15. Things were already depleting, and of course by the time I went to the second plate, you know, they hadn't updated much of anything. They brought some things out. I saw the lady bring something out. So, but very few people in there. You know, maybe they had more people between 11:30 and 1:15, and then I came at the end of it. I don't know. But still, usually if a place is popular enough, it's still going by 1:15, 1:30. There's still people in there. So checking the notifications on my watch. And so I was disappointed in that place. I'd been there several times in the past. Yeah, it wasn't so bad back in the past. But I had read some reviews that it had been going downhill, and I would have to agree. It almost kind of felt like they were good at one time. They kind of said this is the formula we need to do, and they kind of kept doing it because it's the same food things as I remember from before, and then they just kind of let it go. It's like let's not improve on ourselves. Let's just leave it that way. And then it wasn't being replenished, of course. So it seems like it was things that were left over, and then, you know, people coming in at this time, you're just going to get whatever's left over. We're not putting too much stuff out, and you know, any of the carb stuff like the French fries and everything, it just all looked dried out. I wouldn't take any of that stuff. Why would I even bother? You know. And then there's no music. Okay, now here's the thing with the music. How hard is it to put on some music? But in theory, if you play music in any commercial place like that, you have to pay for that music. Like for instance, I know a lot of the restaurants will have streaming services that they pay for, so they can stream music into their restaurants because that's copyright usage, right? So maybe they don't want to do it because they don't want to pay it. I have no idea. But, to be totally quiet in a restaurant like that and very few people and it's just dead quiet in there, it doesn't give you the feel of a fun place to be. You see what I'm saying? So this is why I said I feel like I'm disappointed going in there, because I just felt like everything about it could have been better. They could very easily to make it better, but it doesn't seem like they do that. They collect your money right as you come in, okay? So you pay right up front. And this is how they've operated in the past before. And not the friendliest people. Like I said, we even got kicked out at one time. I'll talk more about that. They collect their money, and then they give you your change and your receipt, and then you go about your business, do whatever. But yeah, they had kicked us out once. A whole group of us, probably a good 20 plus people, went there, and there's a section in the back that's kind of separated for party type area. So we were back there, and everyone got their stuff, and when old friends get together, they talk and they're laughing and everything. And so I would say, admittedly, we were probably a little noisy. So they after about 2 hours, they said, okay, your time is done. So they they kicked us out. So everyone kind of felt kind of funny about that, because I don't think we've ever been kicked out of a restaurant before. But I said, well, it is a buffet place, and there is some buffet places will kick you out after a certain amount of time, but that's not that common here in the Chicago area where they kick you out. Okay, I have noticed though, some other places do put time limits now, like some of these Korean barbecue places will have a time limit on there, because they don't want you, sitting there forever and just taking more and more and more and more. So they limit you on time. And the Vegas buffets limit you on time too. Although I don't know if they've ever kicked anybody out at a Vegas buffet. They probably have, but they will tell you got an hour and a half time limit, a 2-hour time limit, whatever it is. And other places, there is no time limit, right? So so everything about this restaurant, I kind of felt like they just fail at something they could easily make a little bit better, but they just don't seem to care to make it better. It's a pity. Now, I did some research. I said, is there any other buffet restaurants? Now, I mentioned Royal Buffet, which is in Hoffman Estates. It's just a town over from Schaumburg. A lot of people go there, but they have also lost a lot of business too. I think the whole buffet things have kind of dropped dramatically. They used to be very busy. In fact, when they first opened, they were just packed with people. It used to be a furniture store. Think about how big a furniture store is. That's what they have, okay? So now, and they used to pack the place, but now they close off the back end of it, unless there's big, parties or something going in there. Sometimes when our church group goes there, they could put us in the back there, because we can be as noisy as we want. We won't bother anybody else. But on a typical day, it's closed off. I mean, they turn the lights off and everything, because it's a very big place, and they push everyone to the front, which makes sense. You don't want people all over the place, go way in the back, and they're spread out. They want to push them to the front so it looks like there's people there. But it's just surprising how few people now go in comparison to the past. Now, even for Royal Buffet, they haven't changed their menu either. Everything is pretty much exactly the same as I remember it to be, but they offer you a lot more options, at least at that buffet, and they do replenish their stuff. So, but it's a more expensive buffet. That's why I didn't go there. Will I ever bring you there? Maybe one day I will. I know I've been there before, at least 3 times in the last year so far. But it's with, private events and things, and I don't want to, be recording when, there's other people, like friends and stuff that's there. So, so I looked a little bit more. I said, is there any other buffet places? Now, I go to buffet places because I can pick and choose whatever I want to eat. And since I can only eat certain types of things, it gives me more options to eat rather than just one thing. So there is one more. It's in Elk Grove Village. It's called Hibachi Grill. Yeah, Hibachi Grill Barbecue or something like that. I've been there before as well, right? I've been there a couple times in the past, many years ago. And reports about them seem to be kind of similar to the reports about this buffet, but a little bit better. So it is a bigger place as well. You know, this first one we went to is in a strip mall, but this Hibachi Grill has a separate building of its own. And so I may go there one day, and just depending when I want to go. I don't know what their price range is. I think they're a little more expensive, but they're not like a Royal Buffet pricing, okay? I mean, if it's the same price as the last buffet, then I would say the Hibachi Grill might be a better choice, because just from memory between the two when they were in their heyday, Hibachi Grill was a little better. Now, I remember my brother-in-law asked me, he says, hey, have you ever been to this place? I go, yeah, I did, but I says, it's a little dirtier than, you know, some. But the thing is a lot of these Chinese buffets are kind of dirty. Admittedly, they are. They're usually a little dirty. You know, they don't upkeep their washrooms very well, you know, that type of thing. Or, you know, the carpeting probably should be replaced, you know, because people spill things on it, and, you know, they don't clean it as often as they should. That type of thing. So if you can forgive those type of things, knowing that most of these Chinese buffets are kind of like that, then it's probably not so bad. But we'll see how it is if I actually end up going there. I think I probably will. I just don't know when I'll go. Oh, man. You know, the thing is, I know Mrs. Wright doesn't want to go with me for that type of thing. She's not a big buffet person. She's never has been. And for me, I just like the variety, to be able to go and get some variety of stuff. So, and most of these buffet places aren't the best quality of anything that you're going to be getting. You know, it's the typical stuff. That's why you always hear me saying this is so typical, because it is typical. But I find it fun to go there. Now, I'm still interested to find out if some of these places will eventually stop me from recording, because I never ask for permission. I just do it. Some of the places, you know, I know some of the YouTube food reviewers will actually ask for permission, but I just go and do it. Now, if they stop me, they stop me. I mean, what are you going to do? I'll just say, yeah, I'm just making a video. If they don't want me to do it, then I just won't do it at that point. But, you know, to call in advance and announce that I'm coming to do this, you know, I don't want to do that either. So what I do is I usually sneak the camera in. I sit down, I strap the camera on, as you saw before, I had the magnetic chest mount thing on, and then I'll go about my business. And as long as nobody stops me, I figure I'm good to go. And try to find a table that's away from everybody else. Now, I think this place actually sits you at a place. They tell you, if I may just ask them, can I sit somewhere away from everybody? You know, I'd rather be on my own, and see if they let me do that. If they do, then of course that kind of brings attention to you. But I prefer not to be sitting, you know, where there's somebody right next to me. You know, I don't want to do that either. So, all right. Anyways, that's about all I have for you guys for today. I know this was a long one, but I had a lot of things I wanted to say and get off my chest. All right, I'm going to head over to Costco, do my thing, get some gas. What time is it here? Yeah, it's about 9:40 right now, so I'm a little early, but I can go get gas at least, and then I'll sit at Costco. Hey, thanks for saying hi to Tom and for saying hi to Donut Jim. I noticed that a lot of people did that when I said last time, say hi to Tom and Donut Jim. We will eventually go out and do some rides, at least one ride together. And I'll probably record that. I just don't know when that will be. That'll be on, of course, on the Russ's Right channel when that happens. But I'll let you guys know if we actually end up going out there to do it. But with the weather the way it is now, none of us are going to head out there, not in this weather. We might as well wait a little bit until the weather feels good, and then we'll go out. Then we'll have a better time, right? All right, anyways, if you like this video, go ahead and hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already done so. I'll talk to you guys next time.